Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast. This week we're going to be talking about a big old sweet announcement. Ooh, we got something fun to talk about. We're going to be talking about Mario Wonder is having a Nintendo Direct. PlayStation Plus said fuck you to everybody. They're raising their prices. Sony is. And maybe we'll have a little time for a little extra news, but we're going to cross that bridge when we get there. Joining me as always, my sweet dumpster boy, Kamen Darty. Kamen, how are you?
Patrick, let me tell you something.
Tell me.
I worked too late today.
Yeah.
I walk upstairs.
Yeah.
Hour too long today.
Okay.
Walk upstairs.
Okay.
You know what I smelled? Fresh batch of cookies.
Oh.
So think about that.
That is such an interesting thought to me. I kind of don't know what to even think of it other than why don't I have freshly baked cookies in my presence right now?
It's a good question.
It's
a good question, Patrick.
It's pretty disappointing. So now I counter with, do we stop the show now so that I can go buy some cookies to have some fresh, warm cookies ASAP as soon as possible?
Patrick, let me tell you something.
Tell me.
I think the problem here is if we did that and I were to be like, we will eat our cookies live on air. Halfway through the episode, I would be asleep.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
No. I get that. You know what I don't want, Kamen?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to be asleep during this podcast because who would I talk to?
Patrick, can I tell you a story? This could potentially get me in trouble.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna tell the story though. So as our audience knows, I back last year dealt with some back problems.
Sure.
Well, guess what, Patrick?
They're back.
You don't have to guess. You already know. It's
capital
back
B. They're back.
It's capital B back, baby.
The back is back.
So I've got an MRI coming up because my doctor was like, look, this is a situation where I think it's just for safety concerns. Let's do an MRI, make sure there's nothing super wrong. And also like at this point, you're too young for this to be like a huge issue. Like you got
sure. And we can finally say that we're the #1 MRI podcast on the internet.
True. Yeah. We're good at that. Yeah. So either way, so they were like, let's give you some prescriptions. Well, the thing is, Patrick, apparently I've abused my body. No. They think that the copious amounts of Tylenol and Advil that I've taken over the last year to like all help with this pain has caused me to get stomach ulcers. So they said, don't take these anymore. We're going to give you some medication. Give you an anti-inflammatory. We're giving you a muscle relaxer.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick. Yeah, I think you know where this is going. 10 minutes today.
Yeah.
Just asleep.
Honk shoe.
Honk shoe.
Honk shoeing it up.
I even told my wife, I said, wife, listen to me. What I need you to do is I need you to come and check on me in 30 minutes. Because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. And this is supposed to help with the pain. And I don't know what's going to happen. So I need to be very careful. And we're going to test this out because I need to know if I can take these and work at the same time. So not only does she come and check on me.
Yeah.
And of course, like, dude, what the fuck, Kamen? I'm like, shit. Okay, good call. Can't take these while working. However, apparently, I was in a meeting and I get on the meeting and I was like, good morning, everyone. Except it came out like, good morning, everyone. Someone messaged me, was like, bro, are you all right? You okay? And I'm like,
so did you just have a stroke?
Yeah, like I think I'm dying right now. I think I'm dying. So I have opted not to take one immediately before we recorded so that I didn't fall asleep in the middle.
Could have been fun.
It could have been really funny.
Could have been fun.
Could have been funny.
I'm thinking of an alternate reality where you didn't tell me any of this, and all of a sudden, like 30 minutes into the show, you're just getting so sleepy on me, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
You know that feeling when you're in school, right? Like when you were a kid, and you stayed up way too late playing video games the night before, and you're in school, and you're like trying to keep your eyes open, but they're just closing in and up.
Yeah.
And then that was me like for the first 3 hours of my day today.
Yeah.
So
well, hey, you seem ready to tackle anything right now.
Yeah, it's because I'm super uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, hey. I get that. Kayla in the chat. Hey, Kayla, throwing up grandpa face.
Yeah,
grandpa face in the chat for Kamen.
That's me. I'm about to shave my head into a toilet bowl. Just like really, just fucking get into it.
Let's go. Well, Kamen, we do have a lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod or by searching for Spotlight Games in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live, like Kayla is right now, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Spotlight Games Pod. So be sure to follow us there so that you're notified when we go live so you can be part of the conversation. Just like Terry is in the chat. We got Terry in the chat. We got Kayla in the chat. What a great, fun little chat. Happy Bill and Frank Marriage Day.
What was it, yesterday?
That was yesterday. Same day as my wife's birthday.
Oh, that's a terrible birthday for Rose to have.
Rest in peace. Cognitive Clips in the chat. Hello. How we doing? Kamen.
Yeah.
Last week we had in the chat, friend of the show, Kayla, on covering for you.
Thank you.
While you were dying. In fact, you did die. But now you're back.
Yes. When you say dying, I literally went to hell, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
For the first time. It's the first time I've been to Atlanta in like 3 months. Let me tell you, it smells like shit.
Yeah.
I'm coming in hot tonight, boys.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. But Kamen, so it's been 2 weeks since we last spoke. Since we last spoke on air, we've spoken otherwise. Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out. You've been playing it. What do you think?
Man, this game fucks, Patrick. This game fucks. I was there. So what we did was we did a movie night the night before, watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a little group of us. Then we all played launch day. And what we did, which I thought was really smart of us, was that we had enough people to actually pull up a full customs game. Mm-hmm. And then basically we just like learned how to play the game. Because here's the thing with TCM. And I feel bad for the people who play solo. You just have to learn on the fly because the tutorial is not good. Like the
TCM,
tutorial,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
For those.
Yeah. The tutorial sucks. It's just like a lot of pictures and like maybe a couple clips, but like you can't actively do anything.
Sure.
So that kind of is not that fun. So what we did was we did customs. We all played together. We got comfortable with it. We came back a few days later and we did more customs. This time around, what we did was we had one person with his JD. Shout out to JD, who is like huge. Like this motherfucker's great at this game. And so he sat us down and then went through and was like, this is how you play as a victim. And then he would like switch the group of people and be like, this is how you play as a victim. And then did killers, right? So we could all kind of figure out how to do this. And honestly, super helpful. Played some last night with a handful of us. We played last night. And it's what I can say is, and this was my one worry about the game.
He's worried, folks.
Is that we were going to get to a point where like, and it'll get better with time, I think. But like, you're going to have people who are really fucking good at this game. And a lot of this game boils down to, especially when you're a survivor, is learning the map layout and memorizing the map.
For sure.
And so I think what works with Dead by Daylight, because this is an isometric, like horror survival, whatever it is that they call this genre of game. Genre. The thing is with DBD is that there's really only one way to beat the game if you're a survivor. And there's so many maps at this point that and you don't even really need to memorize the map. You can just kind of wing it, but you have to clear generators. What I like about with TCM, what they do is that you don't need to do that at all. You can play solo and escape by yourself and never help a single person or do anything together, which is cool. But the thing is, because there's so many different ways to get out, that it does, honestly, a lot of times it feels like the survivors this time around actually have the upper hand against the killers, which is interesting. I think it's fun. So like last night, we had a couple matches where I think we did like 4 matches. The first 3 matches, we only killed one person, and the rest of the 3 escaped. And in the last match, only one person escaped, which felt better. So I do think that like that's kind of where you might run into an issue is that as the player base becomes more devout, and then we start to lose some of the people who are like, yeah, I played for the first week or two, but I don't really want to play this game anymore. This is not really my shtick, whatever. Is that you're going to end up with a more exclusive base of players where it might not be as welcoming to a newcomer. And I think that's my one big concern. However, outside of that, this game rules, Patrick. We actually played some together. And if I'm not mistaken,
we sure did.
I killed you on accident.
You did. You were naughty. We were in a little training session. I was just learning the ropes. I was just trying to be my best victim I possibly could, trying to escape while learning how to play the game. And what happens? This fucking leather-faced motherfucker comes up behind me where I'm about to do a very important thing, and he just chainsaws me right in the balls. Actually, I was playing as a woman, so it wasn't in my balls, but it hurt.
Yeah, it hurt. Guy. It was. I definitely thought you weren't almost about to die. So when I hit you, I was like, "This is gonna be fun." Let me hit him, and then I chainsawed you.
And then it goes into the animation of, "Oh, you're dead now." Grabs my face, fucking saws my face.
Yeah,
it was brutal.
It's
brutal. But no, yeah, it's fun. I've not played it since that night when we all played together. But Kayla in the chat saying we should all play together sometime, which I agree with. Crossplay.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter what console you're playing on, or if you're on a PC, we can all play together. Why doesn't every game do that, Kamen?
Yeah, and I think too, Patrick, the cool thing about this is it's fun regardless of who you are. So like when we play Dead by Daylight, I absolutely hate playing as killer. Absolutely hate it. I find no enjoyment in it at all. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just don't really dig it. But like in this, depending on how many people we have playing with us at any given point, I am very excited to be because I'm a Bubba main, which is oddly enough, not many people apparently are Bubba mains. They Hitchhiker and Johnny and Sissy are like the main ones people like to roll with. But you have to have a leather like a Bubba or Leatherface. You have to have him to play start a match, so it works. I love it. But yeah, I don't know. I also love playing as a victim. I think that that's really tense and really exciting, and the game is really cinematic. So it feels cool. It feels like if you play these types of games, you haven't touched this yet. What I will say, I think the game feels like a mixture between Evil Dead, the game, and Dead by Daylight, where even victims have the ability to fight back. You can't kill the killers, but you can stun them and you can mess with them. So you do have some autonomy there, which I think makes being a victim more fun. Is that you can sneak up and stun killers and stuff, which is cool. But at the same time, too, like the game gets super intense, especially when you're starting to unlock doors and you know they're right behind you. And I've had some close calls in some matches before that were just super exciting. But yeah, I really say like, look, if you have an Xbox, fantastic news. It's on Game Pass right now, and it's cross-platform, so you can play with whoever you want. And definitely recommend, like, if you want to dabble, this is a really fun game. Just the learning curve right off the bat might be a little tough. But if you can make it through and kind of figure out how the game functions and works, then I really think that there's a lot of enjoyment to have here.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I like really agree with the point on the game is all about memorizing the map. Because I feel like I fully understood how to be a victim and how to be a killer, but I would get so frustrated with myself because I'm like, I just don't know where to go at times. And like I'm being chased and I'm like, I don't know where the door is, which like when you're playing the victim, it's kind of, canonically it makes sense that you wouldn't know because you just woke up in the basement of this fucking terrifying place and you're trying to survive and escape. But when you take, yourself out of the situation and just look at it as I'm playing a game, I'm like, this isn't fun to just not know what I'm doing. But that's just one of those things. Like, as I can see myself really loving this game if I can just fucking remember where shit is. Terry in the chat, should I get into this game? I mean, I think it's really fun. I think this is the rare multiplayer game for me where I am drawn to it even though it is multiplayer. And like it because I don't love, just playing solo in a multiplayer game, playing with randoms. But there is still fun to be had in this game too, even if you are just playing with randoms, for sure. So I think you should give it a shot.
Yeah, it's also kind of a budget title as well. So if you're not playing on Xbox and you're playing on PlayStation, I don't know. I think it's like what, not even $40 right now, $35.
I think $39.99. I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think because I got it for both. I got it on the PlayStation 2 because my wife and I will play together. Just one.
The PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2, baby. It's all beautiful graphics, man. Lots of bits. Lots of bits. But yeah, so when you pre-ordered it, you got like a certain percentage off. So I think I got it for like 35. But yeah, but still, you're still not paying like a $70 price point. It's a little bit easier to digest that.
For sure.
I mean, shit, that's going, that much money. That's going to Burger King for 3 people in today's economy.
I'm just trying to have it my way, and I'm out here spending $40, Kamen.
At a fucking Burger King.
Yeah. The king. I'll tell you what. Kamen.
Yes.
Last week, for those that were here live with us or listened, and Kayla, in the chat, she was on the show with me. I had a lot of, how do I put it? I've been so hot and cold on Final Fantasy XVI.
Yeah.
There have been parts I've really liked. There have been parts I've really not. And since recording last week, I finished the game.
Tell me about it.
I've played about 15 more hours since we recorded last week. And Kamen, if I had liked the rest of the game as much as I fucking loved the last 15 hours of this game, it would be in like the clear running for game of the year for me. Once I unlocked all of the different abilities and things, like it's frustrating because my lasting impression of this game is insanely high because like I said, the last like 10 to 15 hours, I had so much fun with. The story fucking popped off. Last night had me on the edge of my fucking seat. So hype. The ending is so hype, Kamen. I can't wait for you to finish it. But then I think about the first 40 hours of me like really struggling to even continue playing the game. And I'm in this weird kind of position where I'm like, at what point do I separate the time that I wasn't having fun from the time I was having fun and just say like, this was a great game? Because I do think from what I see online, Nick, he wrote in his kind of full impressions on the game now that he's platinumed it.
Nick, my man.
It seems like the majority of people very much like this game and think it's great and think it's a game of the year contender. And like I said, if all of it was like the last 15 hours, I would absolutely be aligned with that. But then I'm like, but the last 15 hours were so good. Do I just forgive the first 40?
You bring up a really good point, Patrick. And I want to entertain this for a second, if you don't mind. You know how often we play games and you're like, man, I really enjoyed it up to a certain point, and then it becomes monotonous.
Yeah.
And you're like, just fucking end. Like, you're dragging on. I can't tell you how many games I've played that I'm like, okay, just stop. This needs to end.
Yeah.
And how we judge that. This is kind of the opposite problem. And this is not a situation. Now, keep in mind where I think your enjoyment of the game started to lift was where I tapered off, not because I wasn't enjoying the game. It's just because I kind of ran into burnout and time is very limited for me at the moment because I'm dying.
Yes.
But so like for me, like I'm really excited to pick the game back up because I'm like, I was really enjoying it. So for me, the whole experience will be great and will be only elevated even more by like this crazy last 15. So that's a really interesting, and I think this happens. And I'm going to juxtapose this against something else. You tell me what you think.
Yeah.
I think this happens with movies a lot, especially A24 films have this tendency to be like slow burn, slow, it's slow, methodical pacing up to a certain point, and then just absolute shit hits the fan, and it's like a cult classic.
Sure.
So, but then again, a movie's 2 hours long. This is a almost 40-hour long game.
For me, it ended up, I think I clocked at like 65 maybe by the end of it. Because the thing is, Kamen, I basically 100% of this game. I didn't get the platinum because I would have to play it again to get the platinum, which I don't want to do. But I did every single side quest. I did every single hunt off the board. I did fun. Like, which are great. So like I ended up doing everything. But and if I had told myself this 2 weeks ago, I would have been so shocked. But Kayla in the chat, personally, I would rather absolutely love the ending than have it drag at the beginning than want it to be over. Which I'm so high on this game right now because my experience with the last leg of it was so positive. And fucking Clive Rosfield, Clive, and Torgal, Joshua. How about that little Clive Rosfield?
It's fucking good, brother.
It's fucking good. But like I really like. I hope that you can get back to it soon because especially the last boss fight of this game is maybe the hypest thing that's ever happened in a video
game. Okay.
It is. There were you and I had been talking. You were like, just wait till you get to the Titan boss fight, and Nick had said, wait till you get to Titan. I got to Titan, and I think I'd expected what the final boss fight did with Titan, only because multiple people had been like, just wait for Titan.
The Titan boss fight is so cool, though.
The Titan boss fight is very cool. But honestly, the next one after that is Bahamut. Every boss fight past Titan is like, all of them are so much better than the last one. It's kind of mind-boggling. That especially the last one is so fucking good. And I don't want to spoil anything. I almost said something I shouldn't have said, but Clive Rosfield, I tell you what, Nick in the not in the chat, in the email, he sent us some thoughts. He's done this before, and I love when he does this. And I would ask anybody else that wants to send their thoughts on games, whether it be in a voice memo or an email, send them over. We'll read them on the show, like I am about to with Nick. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read the first little chunk. He said on a 1 to 5 scale, he gives it 4.5 good boys in honor of Togo. Quick review, because I would love to discuss the game in person one time. We will do that, Nick. I don't think that was meant for me to read out loud. Summary: when I was younger, games like Zelda: A Link to the Past, Chrono Trigger's open world map, or Final Fantasy VI brought my imagination out like never before. I would imagine these beautiful landscapes with these small pixel trees and mountains, vicious and disgusting monsters and their pixelated bodies, amazing voice acting through reading the text. This is all in his imagination. Nowadays, I'd played way too many open world games and felt burnt out. Thank the JRPG gods that Final Fantasy XVI came out right when I needed it to. All those images I had in my head as a kid were brought to life. Big, open, gorgeous landscapes, but not too big. Incredible voice acting to go along with a powerful story of one man not only finding himself, but humanity finding its inner strength, and a combat system that progressively got better and better as I went through. I love this game, and it is probably my favorite Final Fantasy for now. I think it'll be important in the future to play all of the main ones, which he lists as 7, 10, 9, and 12, with this and see how I feel. But for now, this story touched me the most. This is Patrick. I kept seeing online so many people be like, the story. And I was having so much trouble connecting to the story. By the end of it, they brought me in. Mm-hmm. All of this to say, Final Fantasy XVI ultimately rules. I don't think it's going to end up being in the real running for my game of the year, but I'm so happy that I've completely done a 180 on this game since the last time I was on this podcast. And it's all thanks to Clive Rosfield. And Torgal. Kamen, any other final thoughts on what we've been playing before we move into the show and talk about our big announcement?
I do want to mention something really funny.
Yeah.
So my wife is going back and playing Horizon Forbidden West because she wanted to do Burning Shores. So she's currently playing through that a lot of times when I'm just sitting next to her on the couch reading. And I will say, I don't know what happened when this game launched. I swear I didn't see like a single bug. That game is so fucking broken.
Horizon?
Yes. Dude,
interesting.
The amount of bugs that I've just watched and been like, what? Where it's like, and it's simple shit too, where it's like, she'll be like walking with an NPC that's like leading her somewhere, and the NPC will just start doing circles. Or like she'll go to like jump up and it'll just launch her 100 yards in the opposite direction. And I'm like, what? Yeah, it is so weird to me. I've never seen a game get more broken as things have, I have no clue. Because when I initially played, I was like, I didn't face like a single bug. Like there was some texture pop-ins here and there. Sometimes the audio would sync out, but it would sync back up real fast, so it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like immersion breaking.
Sure.
But like watching her replay this game, I'm like, dude, I don't know what this thing is. Jank.
Yikes.
It's weird, man. It's like Bethesda jank level shit that I'm like, did not. And Cindy was even saying, she was like, because she platinumed it when it came out. And she was like, I do not remember this game being broken like this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't either.
I was like, dude, I don't know. I don't know what to
I wonder if they released a patch that accidentally brought in a bunch of bugs.
I don't, maybe, but I just thought it was really funny. So like, if you haven't played Horizon Forbidden West yet, just maybe be on the lookout. It might be broken, super broken. I don't know. Yikes. So just a heads up, that could be something you could experience.
For sure. And one last quick thing before we go into the show proper. I played episode 3 of The Expanse today. This game rips, dude. Like the story they're telling is so interesting. Awesome. So yeah, definitely. I kind of wish that I had waited at this point, because now they keep doing the fucking cliffhanger thing. I'm like, I just want to know what happens next.
That's why I can't do it. I can't. Give me laughing hurts.
Sorry. Kamen, you and I have been talking about a thing.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that I've been very excited about. And we've been going back and forth, kind of trying to fine tune this thing. And we're announcing the thing today. And the thing is, we're going to be doing an event. You say, Patrick, an event? What do you mean by that? Not in person. We're not having Spotlight Games Con, although maybe we will in the future.
That'd be pretty cool.
But we're doing an event that is going to be centered around the audience. You watching today, you listening in your cars later. As a collective of Spotlight Games, between me, Kamen, all of our guests that come on the show, and you, the audience, we're going to put together the top 100 games of all time. How are we going to be doing this? I just dropped into the chat for those of you that are live. I've put together a Google form. The way this is going to work over the next few weeks, we're nailing down which day this is going to start, but I think it's probably going to start on episode either 94 or 95, leading into episode 100, in which we will announce the top whatever number we're doing. We're kind of figuring out the math of it all. But what we are asking of you, our audience, in this form that I just dropped into the chat if you're live, and it's going to be in the description of the podcast if you are listening later, or in the description of the YouTube video. In this form, you have 15 different things that you can fill in, numbered from 1 to 15, of your top 15 video games. If you don't have 15 that you feel passionately enough about, fill in as many as you want. But each number is assigned a point value. If your number 1 game will get 15 points, your number 2 game will get 14 points, and so on and so forth, down to, if you want to go all the way to 15. Once we get all of the submissions and close the submission portion, we're going to fucking math it up, baby.
I'm fucking ruined this. I fucking ruined this entire thing. I put Peppa Pig as number 1, Patrick.
Hey, Peppa Pig, look, if you think it's the number 1 game, then you know what I mean? Then that's the way the news goes. But I'm very excited about this because I think it'll be fun, because we're not going to necessarily know what ends up being on this list. I'm going to have to compile it. But I think what I might do, Kamen, is you will be surprised each week too. We're going to bring on a guest to talk about, and we're going to go through numbers, 100 to 90 or 100 to 86, whatever kind of numbers we're doing. And we're going to uncover it together as a community. So yeah, I'm excited. At the top of this form, whenever you do click on it, a little kind of FAQ, you might think of it. A frequently asked question is what that stands for. Just some things to keep in mind, that in case you do have any questions as you go along. But also, if you do have questions that I don't address in the form about this, shoot us a DM. If you have my number, text me, send us an email, mail@spotlightgames.net. But this is going to be fun. We're going to kind of keep you guys in the loop in terms of scheduling. Probably next week we'll announce the exact schedule of what this is going to be. But it's going to be either like a 5 or 6 episode run, where that's going to be the topic of the show that week. What is the next chunk of the top 100 games that you, our audience, are deciding?
Patrick.
Yes.
What are the odds that the Barbie game will make it on this list?
Fuck.
Better question. What are the odds that Greta Gerwig makes a Barbie game that's like God of War?
Answering the second question first, if it doesn't happen, what's the point of living? To answer your first question,
nailed it.
I've already submitted my top 15, and I think I might need to delete it and do it again because I didn't even think about Barbie Supermodel. Fuck. I fucked up. No, but we got to let it lie. You know, I didn't think of it, and that's on me. That's between me and Mattel and my Super Nintendo. But yeah, I excited about this. Stay tuned. We're going to be making a splash, folks. We're going to be splashing with this. So it'll be Spotlight Games is about to go on a journey, and I hope that you come along with us.